Good evening, everyone. I'll call to order the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, February 27th, 2025, 6 p.m. I'd like to invite Terry Arnold with the Pentecostals of East Ridge if he'll come forward, provide our invocation, and lead us in our pledge. If everyone will stand.
We'll bow our heads, please. Heavenly Father, we're so thankful tonight for your many blessings upon us personally and upon our city. We thank you tonight for our mayor and our vice mayor and councilman. And Lord, we ask your wisdom to be theirs tonight, Lord. Touch them in a special way, and may the good of our city and our community, Lord, be the forefront of our minds. We thank you, Lord, for all your blessings upon those who may be sick and shut in tonight. And may your hand be upon their life and give them strength. Lord, we thank you again for all your many blessings. In the wonderful name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, sir. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Mayor Williams,
Here.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Here.
Councilmember Cagle,
Here.
Councilmember Ezell,
Here.
Councilmember Witt,
Here.
City Manager Miller,
Here.
City Attorney Litchford.
Here.
All right, the first item we have on the agenda is the consent agenda. It's the approval of the minutes of February 13th, 2025 council meeting and the approval of the December 2024 financial report. I assume everyone has an opportunity to review those, and I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Tyler. Do we have any discussion or corrections? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Consent agenda approved. We'll move to the next item is communications from citizens. This is an opportunity for any citizen to come forward and address the council with any questions, concerns, or accolades. I don't have anyone that's signed in, but if there's anyone in the audience, now is your opportunity to come forward, and you'll have up to 5 minutes. I don't see anyone, so then I'll move to the next item, communication to council members. I'll start on this side. Councilmember Ezell.
Nothing today.
Councilmember Witt.
Nothing.
Vice Mayor Tyler.
I got nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilmember. All right. Well, you don't look out with me. All right. So, just an update. We have sent out. I've got it here somewhere. We've sent out the checks to the schools, so that has been done, and we've got here it is. So Spring Creek Elementary actually sent a nice thank you letter back to us for receiving their funds. So those checks went out, I believe,
about a week and a half ago.
okay. So, yep, so we're tickled that we're continuing to support our schools, so that was done. The other thing that I would like to mention, well, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna have Skiles come forward and tell us everything that's going on with East Ridge Parks and Rec.
Yes, Mayor and Council. This is our last weekend for youth sports, which we have soccer, baseball, softball, and flag football and t-ball, and our adult softball. Those signups will close Sunday night at midnight, and that is from ages 3 to 19 for our youth, and then our co-ed adult, and then our men's church league. And then we have set our dates for our fall festival. And this year, because of the great work that one of my employees does on a daily basis, Miss Hannah Spear, will be spearheading our fall festival this year with my help still. But the fall festival will be set for September 27th and 28th. It will run that Saturday from 10 to 5 and that Sunday from 11 to 4 there at the amphitheater at Camp Jordan. We just picked our dates. We got all this ready to go out into the East Ridge Hometown News. So we'll be getting all this over to Cameron this week, and then we'll start updating the website and start planning the acts and things like that. So that's what I'll start working with Hannah on and everything, but I'm going to let Hannah take the lead on some of that with my help in the background, so that way I can start teaching other employees. And she already runs great events at our community center now, so why not teach a little bit more? Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. So then, over in the library, there's 3 reoccurring events that I want to also keep reminding everyone of. Puzzles and Pen Pals is the third Monday of the month from 6:30 to 7:30. That work jigsaw puzzles and pen a letter to a resident of a local nursing home. That is it's a great craft item, great item to do. Then STEM Family Night is the second Monday of the month from 6:30 to 7:30. A program where families code, create, and challenge themselves through science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And I saw some pictures of the one they just had, and it looked amazing. Then Homeschool Book Club is the second and fourth Wednesday of the month at 3:30. This will run from September through May, 1st through 4th grade. Registration is required, but there are free events. You can call 423-867-7323. Then lastly, I want to extend a heartfelt congratulations to Janet Middleton on her well-earned retirement. Her 29 years of dedicated service has been nothing short of extraordinary. For the past 8 years, I've had the privilege of working with her alongside her, first as a council member and then the last 6 years as mayor. Janet has always gone above and beyond, bringing dedication, kindness, and a true spirit of service to everything she does. Her willingness to assist, her unwavering commitment, and her incredible work ethic has made a lasting impact, not just on me, but everyone that she's worked with. She will be deeply missed, both professionally and personally. I'll truly miss her presence, but I wish her nothing but the best in her new chapter of her life. Janet, I expect you to swing by and see us and keep in touch. You'll always be a part of this community. You're welcome. So with that, I'm going to now hand it over to Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple updates. Town Center, our 12,000 square foot multi-purpose facility in the rear of the community center and City Hall. All the foundations have been dug. The underground plumbing has all been installed. Underground electrical conduit is installed. Next week, we'll be pouring the footers, the open foundation areas at the 4 corners of the building, and then thereafter, if we can get 3 areas within the open area inside the facility, we can get those filled. We have to dig out about 6 inches, then we'll fill it, and then pour the floor hopefully the following week. The masons will be coming out probably next week, weather permitting. I think we're looking at possible rain on Wednesday. Hope it stays dry like it has been. Masons will be coming out next week and start building the walls. So project is moving along. I should also note too, the underground fire protection is about 85 to 90% complete. Fire hydrant's been installed, the line's been installed, so we're getting there. Expansion to the community center. We had a pre-bid meeting on February 19th, last week in the afternoon. We had a rather large attendance. It was standing room only in a training room, so I'm counting probably about 40 contractors and subcontractors. We got a lot of interest in this project. It's probably about $1 million project, a little over $1 million. Half of it will be state funded, and the other half is what the city will take up. The bids are due Tuesday, March 11th in the afternoon. Pending what we get, we'll probably have to forward our lowest bidder to the state to have them review it and okay it. If we get added time for the March 27th council meeting, we can award it. If not, we'll do it on April 10th. Start date, we're looking sometime in April or May 1st, and we're looking at 270 days from that point. Third thing I want to say is kind of commend Janet on her retirement. She may be back in a year. It took me 4 years to realize that I had made a mistake. I'm giving her 6 months to a year to come back. So, no, Janet has done a great job. I've worked in my 4 decades in this profession, 10 city clerks at least, and unequivocally, Janet, you've been the best. You topped the list if I were to start a new city somewhere, I would recruit you, even though you're retired. Of course, I think this will be my last one too. Anyway, I echo what the Mayor Williams says about you. It was great. You've always been there for me. Anything, anytime I needed information going back in history, 2012, 2011, before that, after that, Janet will come up with that information within 5 minutes. It's always that easy for her. She's got a system that's extraordinary. Anyway, what I'd like to do, Janet, is have you come join me down here. I know. Just remember, you're on camera. And I'd also like the council to join us, all the members of the council. Award for you, just a little bit of award for you. Are you all here? What's up, Jack? What's up? Picture this. It basically says, presented to Janet Middleton in appreciation for your years of dedicated service to the city of East Ridge 2025. We really like this, better than hanging something on the wall. But congratulations, we're gonna miss you. Wish you good luck in everything you do. Okay, you can snap it.
I just want to thank everybody. It's been an honor for the city. I have mixed feelings about it. I'm going to enjoy my retirement, but I'm going to miss this place. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Great.
It's not yours to keep.
Not yet.
Yeah, he might want to use it next.
Yeah,
Wrap it, you go wrap it, make her open.
He's gonna.
I could do that.
Make sure you come tomorrow.
All right. We'll move to old business, item A, ordinance number 1215.
An ordinance of the an ordinance of the East Ridge City Council abandoning a portion of the right-of-way within the 3600 block and part of the 3700 block of Old Ringo Road, tax map parcel IDs 168D-F-001, 168D-F-001.01, 168D-F-002, 168D-J-031, 168D-J-032, 168D-J-033, 168D-J-034, and 168D-J-037.
Thank you, sir. This will be the second and final reading. Council, I'll entertain a motion for ordinance number 1215.
I make a motion to approve ordinance number 1215.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Tyler. Do we have any discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So, when this goes through and it states in here that the 30-foot width of the road, do I still understand it correct? The 15-foot belongs to the Osborne side, the other 15 belongs to the residents, and they have to go to them to asked to buy it from, is that correct?
That's
Okay.
correct.
Correct.
Those four properties
Yes, sir.
that are in question.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Because when it's abandoned, it's given to 50% to
Yes.
the both property owners on both sides.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion, we table this tonight. I'm not against the use that they're wanting to do with this. I'm against the abandoning of Old Ringo Road. And the reason why I'm asking for the motion, I'd like to kind of put in a request that we reconsider the abandonment and turn it into a closure to where the shopping center up there would come and get a permit used, to say like they're gonna use it from Friday night till Sunday evening, to get a permit used to close the road for those 3 days. And then, because they're not gonna use it 7 days a week, the way I understand, for what they're wanting to do with it. They're wanting to abandon the road for these food trucks and venue things. So, I'd like to ask the city manager and get the council's permission to ask him to, see if there's not a resolution or an ordinance that he could write up to do issue a permit for a closure of the road instead of a full-time abandonment of the road, because the simple fact, there's a lot of people use that road. And the people that use that road are gonna start going up Wimberley and over the hill out to Germantown. To Fountain, to Germantown, or come back through. Then the people that come to the shopping center now, that come off of the hill up there from Wimberley, they're gonna have to go all the way down to Ringo Road and get on Ringo Road to come back into the shopping center instead of coming back into the back. But that's hearing her say, the abandonment's gonna close this road 365 days a year, especially if they don't use it but maybe one time a month for their venues. So I'd like to get, like I said, I'd like to have permission to ask the city manager to address the issue of maybe special permit thing being issued for the closure of the road instead of the abandonment of the road for these times that they're going to be used.
All right, sir. So I believe you've made a motion to table this.
Yes, sir, I made
Okay.
the table.
So then I'm gonna ask if we've got a second.
I'll second it, just so I can ask a question.
Okay, we got a second by Councilman Rizel.
So, if you do it that way, how does that, for the 4 landowners, how does that affect them when you just get a permit and shut their road down? Do they all 4 have to agree to that closure for you to use it for a party, shall we say?
We're not involved in it.
No, the road still belongs to us. Use on, I'm gonna call it a use on permit. Would that be a good word? A use on permit from Friday to Sunday evening, then the road is back open just like it is, the way it has been.
Any other questions? Okay. I have a question, just since we've went down this path. Sir, would you like to come up and discuss is it one day a month? What is your
Sure.
potential intentions with,
Brad Schumpert, I'm the Executive Vice President of Urban Story Ventures.
and if you can give us the address?
Yeah, Councilman Cagle.
No,
we
your
plan to-
physical address, I think, for the record.
735 Broad.
Sorry.
Suite 600, yes.
Okay.
So we do plan to reuse it much more than just one day a month. Our intent was, when that became abandoned, we've already reached out to the other property owners so that we can beautify that area, put in planters, would not have any traffic, and then utilize that for some parking. And the food truck idea would probably be more than once a month. We'd like to hang lights out there and kind of make it almost a walkable, just really change the feeling to being a place that's a community meeting area. Of course, food trucks, I remember Jimmy did say that last week, and that would be a part of it, but that would just be a small part of the intended programming, which would be something that would be ongoing, dependent on some of the tenants right now that we're coming to look at from both national and regional tenants, and the way that we could program that to try to activate that space and completely change the face of that entire area right now.
Okay, thank you. That helps clarify the use of it.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, may I ask Jim? All right, now you say it's gonna be more than one day a month. Okay, is it gonna be more than 1 weekend a month? I mean, because
Yeah, I
I
mean,
know
our
we're not gonna
hope-
set up just one day.
Sure.
So,
Our hope would be to activate it and utilize it, not in a way that brings like increased vehicle traffic, but definitely increased pedestrian traffic to that area quite often, because what we're trying to do is to use that as either, we may want to create a pop-up dog park for 1 week and see if we can get people who are dog owners out and try a little pop-up a play, wash, pint type concept where people would feel comfortable. It's just trying things out, getting folks to come, utilize that space, and then become full-time tenants of the shopping center. So maybe let's take a brewery or a small microbrew that may be like in Chattanooga. And we may put a container store, container box there where people can come and they activate that space and they get used to that. And they say, oh, there's a big enough demand here for us to become a full-time tenant. And we create that brewery here at the East Ridge Shopping Center. And then we move them out of that into a full-time space and then bring something else into the temporary space to try to activate it and try to bring something new that we can proof of concept and then have them be full-time East Ridge residents or businesses.
so is this gonna be on the weekends use or all 7 days of the week?
It would be 7 days a week, yeah.
7 days a week.
That would, or the ability to use it 7 days a week would be important,
Right.
both for parking, the walkability, getting people used to it, and realizing this is no longer a place where you have to worry about being run over. This is a place where you come, hang out, walk your dog, see the pretty lights hung over the street. Maybe a weekend where you have a pop-up
Event.
but the access, the space, getting people used to being there would be important to the longevity of the shopping center and getting them used to being comfortable to being full-time tenants.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion to table, so I will, no other discussion. Roll call, Ms. Middleton. This is voting to table.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
No.
Councilmember Cagle,
I'll pass by it being my motion.
Councilmember Ezell,
No.
Councilmember Witt,
No.
Mayor Williams,
No.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
All right, the motion failed to table. So we'll now go back to the original motion that was made and seconded for the approval to abandonment. I'll ask again, any other questions before I call roll? See none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
No.
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes, ordinance number 1215 passed, second and final reading. We move to new business, item 9A, ordinance number 1216.
In order to the East Ridge City Council to amend ordinance 1093 in order to comply with certain mandatory building codes and rules promulgated by the Secretary of the Department of Commerce and Insurance for the state of Tennessee.
Mr. Howell.
Yes, Mayor and Council. So the state of Tennessee adopted the 2018 Energy Conservation Program per House Bill 799. This replaced the 2009 Energy Code. The 2018 Energy Code introduces more stringent requirements for insulation, fenestration, and testing for single-family, and townhomes. With the state adopting the 2018 IECC, the state amended the insulation, fenestration, and testing requirements to reflect those of the 2019 requirements, which are less stringent than the 18s. The city of East Ridge adopted the 2018 Energy Code in 2019, adhering to the requirements that established by the state of Tennessee, and has maintained the same standards for insulation, fenestration, and testing for the 2009 requirements. These amendments before the City Council will ensure compliance with state regulations and will not impact operations of construction requirements or techniques.
Thank you, sir. Council, I'll entertain a motion for ordinance number 1216.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1216.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Vice Mayor Tyler and a second by Councilmember Ezell. Do we have any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
On this new ordinance, Mike, is this something that takes effect, like, if it's voted in today, this is all for future building only? It's not to go back to anything else?
Councilman Ezell, this is actually so, and I'm trying to get this thing really complicated. So when the state adopted 2018s was last year, I think it was, we adopted that way in advance than the state did, right? But we still adhered to the 2019 fenestration, insulation, and testing requirements. So we've actually never changed that. This is just putting it in the book. So the next time we do get an audit, when the state fire marshal office come down, they said, hey, what are your testing requirements for the energy requirements? I said, well, they'll be the same as yours. So we actually don't have them on the books, but we've never really changed that at all. So it doesn't affect any building operations or techniques or anything moving forward or in the past. Yeah.
Thanks, sir. Any other questions? Seeing none, roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Ordinance 1216 passed first reading. We'll move to item B, resolution number 3651.
A resolution of the East Ridge City Council authorizing the finance director to execute an engagement letter with HHM Certified Public Accountants for auditing service for fiscal year 2024-2025 as required by the state of Tennessee and other regulatory agencies.
Ms. Qualls.
Yes, this is just getting ready to do our audit for our fiscal year 2025. The state likes to have all the engagement letters in by the end of March. And the most it will be is $58,000 if they have to do a single audit. They won't know that until they're here. It might not be 58,000, but it will not exceed 58,000.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3651.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 3651.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Tyler. Do you have any discussion? Don't have a discussion, but I do see in the resolution, so if they don't do a single audit, it'll be about $10,000 less, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. No other questions? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes, resolution number 3651 approved. We'll move to item C, resolution number 3652.
A resolution of the East Ridge City Council authorizing the city to enter into a sponsorship agreement with Academy Sports Outdoors.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Scholes?
Yes, Mayor and Council. This is our annual sponsorship contract that we do with Academy Sports. You'll notice that this year they upped our sponsorship from $2,000 to $2,600. And then in lieu of them doing the packages they used to do with like our baseballs and lineup cards, they now do, instead of $2,500 for a gift card, they bumped it up to $1,000 for us because they no longer do those starter kits. So that's the difference in this year's contract. So that period for that contract would run from March 3rd through February 14th of next year's with council's approval.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3652.
I make a motion to approve resolution 3652.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Vice Mayor Tyler and a second by Councilmember Ezell. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Resolution number 3652 approved and passed. We'll move to item D, resolution number 3653.
A resolution of the East Ridge City Council to authorize the city manager to advertise a request for proposals for the operation of a food and refreshment concession services for the East Ridge Parks and Recreation Department.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Skiles.
Yes, Mayor and Council. Considering the recent passing of Randy Carpenter, his wife came down this past week to speak to me about continuing the concession contract. As a result of that, she is asked to be released from the concession service contract, which did list Randy or Family Concessions LLC. With that, I spoke to City Attorney Litchford, I spoke to City Recorder Middleton, and City Manager Mr. Miller. With that, we put together an RFP, which between the three of us this week, we have it ready to go out for publication. So we will need to amend the memorandum. Me and Janet spoke today. I think it would go out March 9th, you said. And then we would receive proposals on April 12th. That way we have adequate time for people to review. And we did a 2-year contract in it. Miss Middleton, City Recorder changed it to 2 with a 1-year renewal option, yes, if we were pleased. That way we were not stuck with a company that we might, yeah.
2-1-1?
Yes. So again, with council's approval, it is the same RFP that we did back in 2018 or 19 when we received Randy's bid or proposal. And again, it will be proposals that myself, the city manager, and whoever else he elects to sit down with us, and then we will then bring them to you for y'all to approve who we bring into the park to do our concessions.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3653.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 3653.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Councilmember Whitt and a second by Vice Mayor Tyler. Do we have any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I have one question. I know she's gonna do it 2, 1 and 1.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the last contract, the new town center wasn't even thought about or wasn't here. So is the new town center included in this contract? Okay.
No, because there, since it will be more of a wedding venue type thing.
No.
City Recorder Middleton did think about that, but since that was going to be a different type of venue, where this is concessions, that is an event venue where weddings bring in their own caterers, things like that. We did not put that in there.
Yeah, dinners and banquets.
Correct. We did think about that, though. Yes, sir.
Good question. Any others? Any others, council? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes, resolution number 3653 approved. We'll move to item E, resolution number 3654.
A resolution of the East Ridge City Council, City Council for the City of East Ridge approving the execution and delivery of a development agreement with BKW Properties LLC relating to a project in the Border Region Retail Development District and authorizing certain actions relating thereto.
Mr. Litchford.
Mayor, Council, this it comes before you all relating to a proposed development of the property located at 6521 Ringo Road, East Ridge, Tennessee. Property owner BKW Properties LLC met with members of the staff administration over the last, 6+ months or so, working on a plan that could put out an attractive recruitment of a reputable retailer, and that retailer is Whataburger. And so when that became known, the property owner came to started negotiating with the city, and the staff administration looked to find this property has a sizable baseline of around $73,000. And so with that known, this is one of the largest baselines that we've done for any of our border region projects. And so they asked the developer, could you provide us some projections and what your anticipated investment's going to be? The projected investment is in around a $3.5 million investment, and developer represented that he would like to get started. I think plans have actually been submitted for review. So the developer showed significant signs of dedication and motivation to get started, provided also projection for the total taxable state sales taxable sales And as we do every time we do one of these projects, we remind everybody that this is the state portion of the sales tax. This is not the local option, nor is it property taxes or hotel motel. This is a portion of the sales tax that would go to Nashville with no guarantee that it's coming back to this community. Under the Border Region program, that guarantee is established to the extent of 75% of the state sales tax portion that is not allocated for education is returned back to the city. So the city administration took the math that they looked for the projected sales, starting at 4 million in sales, and we assumed a 2% growth. We generally like to go on a conservative side on the growth. And in the back of your packet, you should have a spreadsheet there that reflects what the projections are, keeping in mind that this has a give or take around a $73,000 baseline. The allocation that was proposed by the staff was a 90-10 allocation, developer getting 90%, the city getting 10. But when you really amortize it out completely, you got to think, you can tell in column D, it's column D is really your telltale sign there, because you're getting $4.5 million of what the Border Region is anticipated to bring, knowing that the baseline, of course, is $73,000 every year. Well, the city is meeting its overall baseline that it's required to meet for the whole district, but every year, right now, that property sits vacant. It is essentially void of $73,000. So this $73,000 you can almost treat as this is, it helps make up the baseline, but the city is getting to receive this $73,000 now as a part of that void. And so the 90-10 allocation really comes out more closer to about a 60-40 when you look at it from the overall amount of revenue being generated on this development. And so, and I tell you that because, yeah, the number may say 90% on developer allocation. That's really not telling the whole story. I mean, again, you've got 4.5 million of a whole project that's being generated under the allocation. The property owner's getting 2.6 million. So that's really a city's getting around 2 million, and the remainder of this, the 2.6, is going to go to the developer. So you're looking more of that common ground that we've really done for most all these, in that neighborhood of around 65, 35, give or take, range. Again, that's when you take into account the total baseline that the city gets to receive. And so this did go to the IDB last week. It passed unanimously, and this is before you all now. The developer is here if you have any questions. He's here to answer. I think I've forgotten how many seats projected. How many seats projected?
45 the way I can.
45. So
3 seats per parking space.
okay. So this made the front page of the Times Free Press Friday morning after the IDB meeting late, mid evening last Thursday. So it's certainly something that has reached the news and is exciting. And so it comes to from the IDB with a unanimous decision to approve.
Thank you, sir. Council, I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3654.
Make a motion to approve resolution 3654.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Vice Mayor Tyler and a second by Councilmember Whitt. Do we have any discussion?
Yes, sir. Would
Yes,
you
sir.
give me a quick education how you come up with 73,000 baseline?
That's the number we received from the state.
Okay, it's not we come up with.
We do not come up with
That's the amount of sales tax that was collected on that
Yeah.
parcel in
Wally's.
I'm sorry.
state sales tax in 2012.
Yes, sir.
Which is the baseline.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was the Wally's, to be accurate, yes. And yeah, that was established in 2012, and the state provided that information.
State sales tax.
Yes.
Yes.
No, the 73 is the state, sales tax. I'm sorry. Yeah, the state tax.
Right.
Yes. And that baseline is being deducted from our border region allocation every year that it sits there vacant.
Yes. I got you.
which over 20 years would be over $1.4 million. Just saying. Any other questions? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. We're very excited to have that property being developed and you invested in our city. We appreciate it very much, sir. Would you like to come up and say anything? I don't think so. Thank you.
I want a triple right now.
We'll have to get one on the way to Nashville for now.
Yeah.
Thank you again. So that is the last item we have on the agenda, so we will, on a regular agenda, so we will move to the tentative agenda for March 13th. Under old business, we have ordinance number 1216, an ordinance of the East Ridge City Council to amend ordinance 1093 in order to comply with certain mandatory building codes and rules proclamated by the Secretary of State, Secretary of the Department of Commerce and Insurance for the state of Tennessee. This will be second and final reading, which we just passed previously. Do we have any discussion on this item? I see none. Under new business, we have an unnumbered resolution, approval of sound attenuation system for the animal shelter. Mr. Miller?
Thank you, Mayor. We went out for bids on this back in January. We opened them up on February 6th. We only received one bid from the Input Group. Their bid, I mentioned at the last council meeting, was extraordinarily high. It was about over $200,000, and we don't have those dollars sitting aside. We've got about $217,000 reserved. That's left over from the construction of the animal shelter. So I didn't want to go over that amount. We sat down the other day, matter of fact, Tuesday, with Input Group, and we went through the three proposals. The first proposal dealt with inside acoustical panels. Second one, proposal number 2, called for panels outside in the dog kennels that were exposed to the outside. And the third one was the construction of a 15-foot sound wall. We had a good discussion on this. We basically felt at the end of our discussion that we should go forth with the wall ceiling acoustical panels inside the building and the construction of the 15-foot sound wall. So the bidder Input Group is going to go back and finalize their, or recalculate the numbers and come out with a figure that's going to be less than $200,000, which would be affordable. So that's what we're looking at. So this will be on the council meeting for March 13th.
Thank you, sir. Council, any questions? All right. So the next, I'll kind of cover them all at once, but still call them out individually. We have a housing board appointment by Councilmember Witt. We have an industrial development board appointment by the council. We have a library appointment by myself, Mayor Williams. Those are in results of the passage of Ordinance 1214, which restricted a council member from being on a board, and then citizens of only being on one board and not two, which was previous ordinance. So those are three that will be coming up for the March 13th agenda. Any questions on any of those?
Just, have we got anybody put applications in yet?
Yes, we have. You
How
should have
many?
got some in the email. I think we've got,
I didn't see it.
let me look. I think we've got 3 to date, 4 to date. Yep.
I've had some people contact me that's gonna send some in.
Okay. Awesome. Any other questions? All right, then the next unnumbered resolution is purchase of radios, police department. Chief Elselton.
Mayor Council, police department's requesting we purchase 3 more, and it gets confusing. These are portable radios. These are the ones the officers carry around every day. This was included in the budget, and the total price for all three comes into $16,800.24.
Thanks, sir. Council, any questions?
Are these additional, or are these to replace something that's tore up?
These, well, they were enough to get us every officer, including the reserve officers, and leave us 2 spares because they do break on occasion. As a matter of fact, we just broke one broke on its own the other day. So this will allow us to outfit all of the reserve officers and anticipated putting a couple more on.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir. We'll move to the next item. It is another unnumbered resolution, purchase of body cameras, police department.
Yes, this is for the purchase of 5 additional body cameras from Motorola Solutions. This was also included this current budget. The total purchase price for all 5 is $23,090. But with that, it also includes 5 years of the data storage. And if you're familiar, I've told you this before, storage of data is extremely expensive. So this is included as well. And this will allow us, again, to make sure every frontline officers is, including most of the reserves, have access to a body camera.
Thanks, sir. Any questions, council?
Is this 1 year per radio or 5 years for all of them?
This is for the body cameras. It's the purchase of the body camera, and then it also includes 5 years of data service. After the 5 years, we will have to pick up the cost of the data storage.
Any other questions? To tag on to that, I have a question.
Yes.
So after that 5 year, what's normal, the legal limit that you have to retain this type of evidence?
It varies on the type of call. There are some, and it depends on how we tag them in that database, the cloud-based storage. Quite a bit of stuff lasts for 30 days. There's some that we keep for years upon years. If it's a felony case or anything like that, where we may actually have to go back to obtain that footage, or again, resubmit the court footage to another court. Some of it conceivably be a very long time.
So to tag on to that one, so is this something that you can pull down from the cloud and we can store it locally, or is this something, to your point, we have to then continue to pay for cloud storage after the 5 years?
We could potentially come
Okay.
down. Like our old system, we actually had to do that, and we had a upstairs non-office absolutely filled with old DVDs. So
Curious.
yes.
May not be the right solution, but I thought I'd ask and see. Thank you, sir. All right. Next item is another unnumbered resolution for purchase of in-car radios. Mr. Elston?
These are. This is again with Motorola Solution. Excuse me, I pulled the wrong one up. 5 mobile radios. Mobile radios are the ones that are in the cars. If you remember, the range on some of our portable radios it can be a bit limited. With us being nestled up against a ridge, we sometimes have problems bouncing off of a tower. The mobile radios that are inside the car, we went with that option because they are more powerful, have a higher output, and to ensure the officer's going to get there. So this is 5 mobile radios. The total price on these will be $25,280.80, also included in the budget. And this will ensure that it would get us up to where every car we have on the frontline officers. Just to let you know, like my car does not have a mobile radio because, I'm limited on the number of calls I actually answer, so it's just not needed. But this will get us all of our frontline officers with a mobile radio in the car.
Thanks, sir. Council, any questions?
Did you read $25,280 or?
$25,028.80.
Okay.
Did I?
Did
my eyes cross?
I heard it 280.
Anyone else? And I do remember in being on council when we passed that for the safety of the officers, for the
Yes.
communication, it was important to have those in the
And those have
in the
proven to
vehicle.
be very valuable.
Yes, great to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, H, another unnumbered resolution, approval of name of the new town center. Mr. Miller.
Yes, thank you. I think we want to use, I would like to see the city utilize the town center to encompass our downtown area, which comprises City Hall, library, splash pad, community center, museum, and the multi-purpose center, kind of all collectively together as a gathering place for the public, for events, activities, so forth. So we called it over the past months Town Center only because we had to give it a name to refer to, but we need to come up with a name for that specific building within the town center area. We've been back and forth. We provided staff came up with a bunch of names, and Parks and Recreation came up with a bunch of names, and we sat in staff meeting and discussed it, and we all kind of came up with 5 names under my email to you dated February 4th, 5 names there, or any others that we would want to name. This center should be completed, substantially completed by the end of the year. We're in February, starting March this Saturday. We need probably at least 5 or 6 months lead time to have the sign fabricated or designed and fabricated and then installed, so we can have a sign there when we open up our grand opening for the multi-purpose facility. So I'll leave it up to you. What names would you want to come up with? Start thinking now. Maybe we can come to a conclusion on March 13th with a name, or April or May, but we don't want to wind down too fast. We may not end up with a sign on our grand opening day.
Could we put something on the website to allow the citizens to input?
Whatever you want to do. I don't get involved with naming buildings. I haven't done it for 40-some years, not going to start now. I'll leave that up to the elected officials, however you want to go about doing it. I've probably done at least a dozen buildings over my years, and leaving the name up to has always been either the council or open it up to the public or whatever. I've done it all different ways.
Any other questions, council?
Are we naming just that, or are we naming the whole project here?
I would like to get the council's kind of consensus or whatever to name this whole area the town center. We do not have a designated downtown like some cities do. We just have Ringgold Road that goes 4.5 miles from the tunnels to Georgia. But it would be nice to we have Camp Jordan. Everybody knows where Camp Jordan is. It'd be nice to say the activities at Town Center, the libraries in Town Center, the splash pads in Town Center, the community centers in Town Center. This new facility will be in Town Center. It kind of gives us a focus point within the community. That's why if you call the facility Town Center, which is a good name, but what are you going to refer to this area as?
I mean, I'm not opposed to letting citizens weigh in. We'll add some more time, but we have some time. But you know, I'm already seeing one that I like very much. So I'm ready to make a decision. But it's the majority of the council that wants to move on. I like the venue 1921, referencing our year when we were incorporated. So anyway, any other discussion? All right, then we'll move to the last item on the tentative agenda is another unnumbered resolution for the relocation of the dog park.
Okay, Town Center's under construction. We hope that it will be substantially completed by the end of the 2025 calendar year. The purpose of the facility will be utilized for special events. City-wise, we're looking at events like National Night Out, Christmas parade reception, employee luncheons, 9/11 ceremonial luncheons, library luncheons, the Veterans Day events that we have, we could all meet over there. Also utilized for wedding receptions, private parties, luncheons, dinners, banquets, birthday parties, etc., as well as a farmer's market where we can open up the garage, 3 garage doors on the north side and 3 garage doors on the south side, and have people be able to put their carts in there and sell fruit and vegetables and things on that line. The concern to rent the facility to groups and individuals for venues such as luncheons and dinners and banquets and wedding receptions really is in close proximity to an active dog park. Most weddings are held on Saturday, Friday, or Saturday afternoons. You should see that dog park on a Saturday afternoon. Barking dogs will become a disruption to any event that's held there, especially weddings, banquets, and also specifically at times where the garage doors are going to be open to allow, sunlight and airflow. So I would be recommending that we look at relocating the dog park to either Springvale Park or Camp Jordan Park. There are grants available to the city. Cameron McAllister, our grant coordinator, has informed me. So I would look towards retaining the fences out there now, but not the poles. So we could probably cut the expense down a little bit on the relocation. So this is what I'll be looking for on March 13th.
Thanks, sir. Council, any discussion?
Have we decided where is either going to be at the park or at Springville Park?
I think that's part of the decision.
I think that would be up to the council. We did do a 10-year study that was done last 23 or 24? 23? 24. 24. That study was predicated on not necessarily the input from those up here at the council dais. The input was pretty much from the residents through circulars, flyers. We also last year at the Autumn Fest, or was it the year before? Year before, 2 years before, 2023, we had a member from Kimley Horn that sat at a booth and talked to individuals and took their input down as where they would like to see a dog park and where would they like to see it. So I'll insert some of those pages from the study and let you see what they are, but Springville Park was one of the top places where people wanted to relocate, wanted to build a dog park.
We're going to be able to build it big enough to where we can share each side to give the grass time to
Yes.
rejuvenate. So
We've been
we're
looking
at probably what, 2, 3 acres, 4 acres?
as big as we can make it. Yes, I'd like to go. I'd like to have at least an acre each, and do 3, one for smaller dogs. You don't have to make the smaller dogs, but you want to rotate them, one for small dogs, one for large dogs, and then one that's just vacant for a while so you can let the grass germinate and grow. Right now, when we want to grow our grass out there at that mud hole, because it does become that during the rainy season, it does.
You have to shut it down.
You know it. We got to shut it down.
How big is that?
What is out here?
Yeah, ours.
Probably a quarter of an acre.
Quarter of an acre.
Probably.
And you're
Yeah.
looking for 3 acres?
The one I had in Leavenworth was 11.
Keep horses in it or something?
No.
There's a lot of people out here in this
A lot
one.
of people
They
there's a lot
are.
of dogs out there. I
And,
mean,
and then you need to double it just for rotation.
Hannah, how
so-
many have you seen there at one time? Up to?
I would say up to 25, 30, maybe even more dogs at a time. I mean,
yeah.
it gets heavy use. That's part of why we can't keep grass on it.
Closed it last year and got crucified for closing it, trying to grow grass.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I've heard it both. I've had complaints both ways because when they're done talking to you, they usually call me, and even had one individual call and say, "Well, is the city going to going to pay for me to bathe my dog because it goes out there and gets all muddy feet and so forth. They don't want to take it home. So,
Well, the reason why I asked that question was because we just, passed this thing with the Y, and they're gonna probably need, what, 8-10 acres down at the park?
Did they say,
It's 5.6, what
yeah,
they, what
4
they
or 5, I
discussed.
think?
was 5
thought he said
acres.
eight.
Yeah.
5, 6.
Anyway, I might be wrong, but then, all right, well, there's 5 acres going out of the park, then we gotta have the additional parking,
Yes.
so.
We evaluated Springville, and that came pretty close to where we were going to put it, and then we decided to move it here for proximity. But so we'd considered Springville before, which we have a lot more. We have acres down there. Plus, I think what you're alluding to in that survey or that feedback was they wanted something not all down in Camp Jordan. They wanted other amenities toward the center. So that would fit both. But again, it's our decision, and I think we do need to make that decision before you can start filing for grants, because you have to have the location. Is that correct?
Correct.
So we need to make that decision so we can get those grants entered, so we can try to get some money. We'll be able to save on the benches and on some of the
Right.
the
Now, I
fence and some of
will-
the stuff that we've already got out there.
Yeah, I will note that I do believe, I wasn't here when we did this dog park back at City Hall, but how much of a grant did we get on that?
25,000?
I think it was 25. We will have, if we abandon that location, we will have to pay the state back 25,000.
It was not a state grant. That came from,
Boyd.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Then I stand corrected. That's good news.
I think it's Randy Boyd's, one of his foundations, wasn't it?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. We're gonna save as much as we can out there.
Correct.
There's no reason why we can't take the fence all the way around that and a lot of the, exercise equipment, dog exercise equipment out there and so forth. So we use as much as we can.
And then those benches were donated.
Yes, we
So-
use the bit, what you,
Fences were donated, the benches were donated, the features are buried, so we'll have to dig the
I was thinking Cameron told us if we didn't keep it 5 years that we had to pay the 25,000.
that's what he told me, but he mentioned it was a state grant. And it's not,
No,
if
it's
it's
not
not
a
a
state
state
grant.
grant, then we don't have to worry
No,
about
I
paying
know it's
that
not a
back.
state grant.
And it was originally slated for Springfield. So,
Okay.
it was a Boyd. I'll talk to him and double check, but.
All right, any other discussion on that?
Not on that.
Not on that? Do you have any other items of business we'd like that?
Yes, got a question or two.
Okay?
The new sign that we got down at the under end of East Ridge, I've had a lot of people call me and want to know if we're gonna add another word to it. I said, what are you talking about? Cause unless you're looking for it, you don't pay no attention to it. It says, welcome to City of East Ridge. Where's the? They wanna know where the word the is, or are we gonna take the word city out where it says, welcome to East Ridge? Just give me something so I can give an answer to it.
Are you asking me or the council? I've already spent a lot of money on those signs.
Have y'all paid any attention to that? Welcome to City of East Ridge.
If we do any amendment to the signs, if you take City of East Ridge out, I'm not sure what the sign will look like. That sign took a while for full fabrication of it. I'm not sure if we add any kind of adjustments we're gonna make to that sign is gonna cost us thousands of dollars.
So, you want me to
Well, we got another one coming, so just FYI. That doesn't have a the in it.
Say the
That
same
one is in the budget.
Right, for the other side.
Spring Creek? Oh,
No, no.
No, the other.
That's
thing.
done. That's fabricated
I know,
too.
I'm just saying, we've got
Oh,
two. He
okay.
mentioned one.
Say the same thing.
Well, I guess that comes down to the question, Jen. You want to have one that says the and the other one doesn't say the.
People just call. I just asked the
I know.
question.
Welcome to City of East Ridge.
I'll tell them it's.
I'm good with that.
I'll tell them it needed a comma, that's all. I got
Okay.
you. One other thing, I would like for the council to consider talking about setting up a committee to look into our charter and go through it. And see about maybe if there's any improvements we can make to it that we might need. I think it's the same old charter we've had for a long, long time. And we probably need a good committee to go through it and maybe make some updates. Suggestion.
Okay,
Since he brought up the signs, here about a year ago, I brought up, the old East Ridge, Camp Jordan sign down yonder, and we were supposed to be looking into taking it down or reusing it, placing it somewhere else in the city.
the one on the old entrance going into Camp Jordan,
Been lit in a year.
which I don't think's working anymore, or is it working? Yeah. You know, the one with the old.
Yeah,
We just haven't found the money to move it yet, so. We've talked about it, but haven't prioritized it yet with other projects that we have.
we have $400,000 in our capital improvement for the past several years, and believe me, at the end of each year, we have used a lot of that. For example, we had to do the roofing of the library, re-roofing of the library that wasn't in the budget, wasn't budgeted, it came out of the capital. The sound system in here that came out of the capital. We have a lot of these projects where various buildings have an AC or compressor or whatever goes down. All of that comes out of the $400,000, and that takes a basic precedent for the operations of these facilities than the movement of that sign.
So
You can
to-
get a price for it, and if, okay.
To tag on to that, so if it's not operational, is it even beneficial to even try to move it? Is it gonna be,
It just needs a new motherboard, and we had to use it, if I'm correct, when Josh,
Yeah, come on up, please.
my hips
You can,
when previous IT was here, they used it for something else with, there was the IT motherboard that was inside the sign. When Josh, our previous IT person, was here, he used it for something else. I don't know if it was inside Camp Jordan or one of our other city buildings. So one of those main things that worked inside that sign was used somewhere else, and we just never replaced it in there. Plus, nothing else ever worked. But I'll get with Orton and find out,
so,
because Orton was one of the companies that put it up.
agreed, so then that brings up more questions in my brain. A, you can go ahead, yeah, it's not a bad idea to get a price, but is it worth replacing it, it not even being the entrance to Camp Jordan anymore? And then that brings up the question, if we're, doesn't want to put that money into it when it's not on the main entrance into Camp Jordan, then do we need to consider moving it? And is it even movable, and it's going to be destroyed even trying to move it?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of questions I have personally, not just putting the money in the board and it being down that far away.
No, I wouldn't want to leave it there. I'd either want to move it into the park or scrap it.
Yeah, so we need to see, is it
we'll get some costs.
feasibly
Come back.
movable?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, if it's block and brick and you start taking it apart, I mean, it's just going,
Yeah, it'll fall apart.
yeah, so,
The concrete is old, been there for decades.
right,
So you start taking the bricks, you're not gonna be able to pick that thing up and carry it.
exactly.
Nope.
So I think there's a little more than just checking out the price for the board. We need to look at the construction of it, and is it even movable? And what do we want to do? Do we want to move it? Do we want to replace it or just tear it down or let it sit there for a little bit longer?
An eyesore sitting.
Oh, I get
get
a
it.
letter. I get a letter from
I-
this
I-
guy
it
on
is
St.
I agree.
Thomas. Once a year, I get a letter from this guy on St. Thomas
Okay.
So-
asking me to move it.
So there you go.
Yep, I do. Every year, I get a
Oh,
letter
yeah.
from this same guy.
Good questions. Anything else? Anything else?
I do.
Left side, okay.
I was waiting for you to. Okay, we had some discussions with Adams Contracting, Inc. out of Lexington in regard to North Mac Smith Road. They have basically submitted us a letter saying they would like a change order upwards in the amount of $34,000. We need to discuss that, but they want a consensus on that, I guess, before they start work on it. We were supposed to start this contract a year ago, and because of utilities in the way, we put up stop work on the project, and now we're ready to restart it. And I guess some of the costs that they're involved with have increased. I would recommend that we do get involved with the change order on this. However, I think we've got some questions that need to be taken care of through Jeff Sykes, myself, and the operations manager of Adams Contracting. So I'm sure he wants to get started as soon as possible, probably the next couple weeks. So this is kind of, I want to get this project moving forward too. So at the March 13th agenda, we will probably have a change order in some amount for your consideration for approval.
Thanks, sir. Questions?
Well, I'd like to ask you, Mr. City Manager, to see if we can't put part of that expense on Jeff Sykes, because I kind of feel like it falls back to them because of the question I asked before that project ever got started about the power poles, the gas lines, and all the utilities, and he said there was no problem with it, we could start. Then a week later, we found out that we had all of them problems, because I brought the question up due to the multi-module up here, and at that time, the answer was everything was ready to get started down there.
There will be discussions between myself and Jeff Sykes on it right now. However, the contract is between the city of East Ridge and Adams Contracting. I don't want to hold that project up while.
I don't either, but.
Okay, but
part of the expense.
I agree with you, and I will carry that forth to Mr. Sykes.
Any other discussion on that or anything else? I see none. Then I wish everyone a wonderful evening and thank you again for your service. This will be your last council meeting. Thank you. Don't be a stranger. I want to see you out here in the audience. This meeting